Oh, you know what time it is, little girl. It looked like the fat in the fire, and that's how it's done. If you want range top, um, if you want hot plate action like that, I'm sure fresh vegetables is probably. I mean, I guess you could stir fry in these fuckers, but I'm doing a manwich, and since I don't have a food processor, I'm gonna use dehydrated onions because they bring mad flavor, and when they're hydrated with a little bit of oil, there's nothing like the real thing. It's like beaded celery. If you can get that too and put it in with a manwich, unless you have a food processor, you're gonna have to use dehydrated spices. Make it extra, extra space age with dehydrated shit like that with like a dehydrated onion. Right here. Minced dehydrated price chopper onion. Load that shit on. Brings mad flavor. And there's probably about 300 onions in there. And there's no cook time with them because they're dehydrated. And when they're dehydrated, they could be reheated with a little hydration and cooked for extended periods of time. Because a good food processor is a power tool for a crafty bitch, for a crafty hoe, a thrifty craftmatic hoe, or yeah, a crafty bitch. Definitely, she could. I mean, it's still a fucking mess though, but you can basically put the screen on a coarse screen guard and put in whole onion if you had to. If you just chop the tops off and then pull the screen out and just do it again, it's like a power tool. But it's still a lot of work. So when you're doing the range top like this, the hot plate, always keep it as 1960s as possible. Powdered this, dehydrated that. Fuck yeah. I got fresh minced garlic. There's nothing against that, but you usually add that at the end because you don't want to burn garlic. It gets bitter. And instead of putting slabs of cheese on the man, which I'm going to melt Monterey Jack, which should do it. And I'll make a gluey cafeteria paste. Then I'm gonna put the shit down to crock pot mode and put it down to like fucking 80 degrees and just simmer the shit like a cafeteria, like Hot Dog Charlie's or Nathan's. You know what I mean? You come up and there's dried chili on the side of it. You're like, yeah, give me a deep dipping in that. And he pulls out a ladle, a big fat soup ladle full of oily chili, and you're like, yeah, put it on the dog. Open up your burger. Put it on my cheesy burger. And he'll pour a ladle of chili sauce on there. Let it stew all day, crock style, lazy wife, craftmatic, lazy bitch. It's ready. You can come in the door from any time between 4:30 and 9 o'clock tonight. Dinner's ready. It's just there. It's just bubbling, collecting, congealing fat, and the juices are thick. What is this, son? I don't know. Put your dick in it, piece of shit. Lazy piece of shit. That's why rock and roll's evil. It's evil, 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 evil to the core. Evil. You are evil, Mr. Hart. You are evil to the core. Evil, evil, evil. That's why that rock and roll shit is evil like that. Wait a minute. Here we go. Too bad. Okay, that ain't too bad. The most evil shit ever is back when during the '60s especially, it was a big deal then. They couldn't attribute that shit to anything. They didn't understand the acid freakout. Look at when the Jimi Hendrix Experience first played on like British television, and it came through. I can't find it on YouTube, but Mitch Mitchell, that multiple sclerosis, that that pulsified retardo, that grimacing and jerky movements and painful faces, that possessed, evil, disabled, um, Mitch Mitchell Stiley, that drunken, you know what I mean? That looks like possession, doesn't it? When Jimmy's there with his eyes closed, coolly bobbing his head, chewing bubble gum. They probably told him not to on the BBC Live. They probably told him he should have spit his gum out. But Jimmy didn't like his voice. He's just chewing gum, and he's probably lip syncing. It sounds like he's not. And that pulsified, demonic, gesticulating, you know, that disabled flow of Mitch Mitchell, who was totally able, and but it was you look at it and it looks like demonic possession. White fathers in America were probably terrified of that possession, that evil, satanic, touched. Mitch Mitchell looked when he looked touched and demonic and possessed, and he looked owned by exterior forces. That special Olympic drumming, you know. I mean, when you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. That that race for a cure, uh, kind of child of a lesser god drumming. But I mean, he's the greatest drummer of all time. But when you see him, he's just got that. It looks evil to me. It looks wretched and vile, and it looks evil. The way Mitch Mitchell drums are the greatest because I'm looking at my drum sampler on the floor, and that's all I think about is the Hendrix experience. The way they played with time, the way they played with volume, the way they played with pitch, the way they played with forwards and reverse, and the way that they captured it on multiple channels, and the multiple channels make up an algorithm that is like, like a Merlin's cocktail for. And the way that it went to disc, and you're listening to things forward and backward, but at the same time, and you're listening to amplitude versus pitch versus these scepters they're holding, these electric pieces of metal and wood that are playing with the continual flow of electricity and forward in time with multiple channels and multiple frequencies and channel distribution and backward voices. It's most certainly Star Trek and demonic. It was entirely demonic. The things Jimmy was saying, the things Jimmy was doing, and when you listen to it, Are You Experience just that record was very important to me. It was super important. It was everything. The way I mean, guitar was already pretty far out. How far can you take the guitar? How fucking far can you take that? It was demonic. It was demonic. And the things he was implying were demonic. The time measures he was using were demonic. It was demonic. You don't want your little blonde um, breadbasket American daughter listening to the Jimi Hendrix Experience in 1967. God knows what they're doing out there. That was my favorite shit, though. It was my favorite shit. That's the spirit Jesse had. That's the spirit a lot of us rock guys have. And when you hear Mitch Mitchell, you're like, wow, he's amazing. But Hendrix, the things he did with guitar, I mean, it's all about Jimi Hendrix. What they really should do is go through and beat map all the Hendrix Experience shit and put a fucking vocoder on his voice. That would sound cool. A pitch corrector, just a basic pitch correction. That would be cool. To have that lunch lady flow, you know? You just look at the steam tables. What do I gotta do? Nothing. They're there to just keep shit warm. Country buffet, old country buffet style. Come out with some heated fucking. Yeah, put it down right there and go away until we need one. Yeah, bring me a Coke with some chipped ice. Okay, chipped ice. Chip it up. That's what matters in life. That steam table blues. You know what I mean?